What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology. The Titans action, spawning in the top of the map in the red color, playing as Odin. His name is Lordi. His opponent today in the blue color, playing as Hades. His name is Tigerboss. I got someone in the chat saying, rip ears. Was the sound thing too loud? Should I be turning that down? Oh dear. Why don't people tell me this stuff? Is the intro too loud? It's been on the loud side. All right. We'll fix it up after this game. Hopefully it's all better. Sorry guys. That's going to be a problem for a couple of videos there, won't it? Oh well. Better luck next time. It's a little bit on the... Oh, no. Oh, no. All right. I don't care anymore. I'm not looking in the chat. Go away. We've got games to watch. Games to watch. Go away, chat. So we've got Tigerboss here deciding to play Hades on this map. Map is Mirage. Mirage comes with it. Fish that you can very happily fish from and then subsequently eat. Because that's what happens. We'll see how the game goes. But I think that Lordi here was expecting to see Kronos. So he's, well, I mean, Kronos or Uranos here. And he's decided to pick his Odin here. And we'll see if he can come up with an idea of how to win on this map. Now, it's a 6-fish opener here for Lordi. He's got his fishing ships out already. So one way you can play around this is you can just get your extra house out, get your temple down, take these villages onto a cow or something to eat after they've got all the wood, and get yourself a fairly fast advance time. I'm talking like 4 minutes and 2 seconds, 4 minutes and 5 seconds, or like even 4 minutes and 20 seconds you can do. Lots of options, and you can start getting very aggressive in this game. I do recommend doing things like mass cavalry here, pretty good. Probably mass Ulfsuck against Hades is something you want to stay away from. So like mass cavalry, get some throwing axemen in there a little bit later and catch the Hades player out of position. So we see the temple coming up now for Tigerboss. He's already got himself his own fishing ships out now. The question is, how many villages on wood? Too many villages on wood. So think about it like this in terms of your build orders. If you want to play on this map and want to play it as kind of easily as possible, you've got a couple of build orders in your sleeves already from other maps. You've got your Anatolia and Midgard build order, and you've got your Mediterranean build order. Those are your two builds. So Mediterranean, you build 9 fish. Use that build order. Use your Mediterranean build. How many villages did you put on food, onto wood on that map? 5. If you put 4 villages onto wood here, you can actually do a 402 advance time on this map with Hades. We're seeing a 416 here from Tigerboss. Now 402 versus 416. Personally, I prefer the faster advance time and be more aggressive on this map, but this works fine as well. As we still haven't seen Lordi advancing, as it seems like he's forgotten his temple, which is a very, very big deal. He's got himself tons of wood in the bank, tons of food in the bank. Moving out over onto this wood over here. He's taken a very long time to advance, and I wonder if this was on purpose. Idea being, advancing quite late, which means you get more resources out, and you know that your opponent is probably going to go for a fast second town center as kind of your guess. So advancing a little bit later and just taking it easy and then grabbing your town centers with a little bit more resources might be an idea for the Norse. Normally, I'm more of a fan of getting up to the classical age as fast as you can to drop your town center, but with Norse, having a few more resources in the bank means you can afford to build more Herser to build your town center up if you are wanting to get that second town center up. So there is a world where the two town center as Norse, it's actually better if you advance a little bit later. Could be wrong though. Don't know. But we'll see. As the Ulfsuck now moving up to get the docks, making sure he's got a nice defensive position there. But the town center simply coming down for Tigerboss here in very, very fast fashion with the Chiron coming out, walls coming up around his towers as well. We'll see how the game goes as Freya does end up coming through for Lordi. Ursa starting to pop out. Raven flying over here as well, checking things. As we do see a random dock has come up by Lordi in the bottom corner. I want to put a little bit of pressure onto this as we already see Tigerboss getting himself out a trireme. So technically speaking, this is a win. A pretty hard, not a huge win, but a win for Lordi. It's a win of 30 resources because this trireme is not going to be worth anything. But it comes over ready, and we'll see if Lordi is going to build himself anything out of this, or if he just says, no worries, I've been spotted. Gets himself his second town center. More Ursa are going to be pumping out to get that one up. A barracks can come down as well for Lordi to pump himself out. Some Ulfsark or something to help get that town center up fast as well. As the Valkyrie comes through, shanking some villagers on this position. As Chiron comes through and says, get out of here with that Valkyrie. You have to figure out something else to do here. As the Ulfsark is simply just going to retreat back, and Talon Cerberus is sitting here. This is a decent relic. It's definitely worth picking this relic up, especially with you got the Frost Giants coming in. Frost Giants being a very valuable unit that with less recharge time, they come a little bit stronger. There's Lordi's town sent up, just about to come through. The ox cart coming over onto these gazelle here. As the cow's going to be retreating back. And Tigerboss is already going farms on this map. He's not even bothered to try and grab these gazelle in the middle of the map. I guess when you see the town center up for the Odin player, you could possibly just move forward onto the granary here, and that's exactly what Tigerboss is doing. So he's made that decision nicely as the Chiron comes through, sees the Valkyrie, they kind of high-five each other, and then Chiron finally says, all right, I'll start shooting you. And this is the brutality of the Chiron and why he's so strong in the current meta. And this is a big reason why Hades is super good as he kind of just stops chasing. But basically, because he can hit anything up to 6 speed, you can't do anything with these heroes against Hades in the early game. So it's almost with these myth units against Hades in the early game. So it's almost better to be basing your classical age minor god choice against Hades, not based on the myth unit like we normally see, but more based on the technologies that come from your classical age, because you know that Valkyrie is just not going to be worth all too much. As Longhouse is coming down now for Lordi. He's starting to make himself some throw an axeman, raiding cavalry coming out as well. In the main base here, we've already got the farms basically set up for Tigerboss. He's in a good position, whereas Lordi, he's got a couple of cows here still remaining that he can eat. Doesn't need to go onto the farms just yet, as the villagers now all moving over, finishing off the rest of the gazelle. But after that, he will be needing to start putting villagers onto the farms. He's got berries here as well. Same too as Tigerboss. He's slowly putting everything down, taking it nice and slow, calmly, making sure he gets as much value out of his stuff as possible, though. I guess he ate all of his herdables, so that's a thing as well. As the units have to retreat here for Tigerboss. He's not quite ready to take a fight, or same too for Lordi as he pulls back as well. He does have himself 4 Ursa, which should be enough to take out the Minotaur. As Lordi's still searching around for something to attack, we do see the Valkyrie has spotted some cows here. You can try and drag them back home. These villagers look like they're going to move forward and try and grab the baboons. This is something that, one of the reasons why I think that gods like Atlantean and Norse are good on this map is because they can very happily eat the baboons as well, whereas the Greek player, they're very rarely going to want to come and drop a granary over here and try and eat these baboons. They have so much HP. It'll be a lot harder to kill them in the right place. There's a raiding cavalry now making haste to try and find those villagers as they get spotted. As the large gold mine over here. It's got a longhouse on it, and that's going to be enough for Tigerboss to just retreat back home. And I imagine here Lordi's game plan is going to be centered around trying to push off of this gold here. But there's a beautiful back gold mine over here as well, which I'm sure Lordi is aware of. So he's not going to be able to get an easy gold staff in this game, but he does move in to take the storehouse down in the bottom corner. And Skadi now coming through for Lordi, as Tigerboss is going to have to figure out what he needs to do here to stay alive after this frost is going to hit him. Now, a really early kind of Fimbulwinter here could be gigantic as well. Hitting this, hitting this, hitting this, and then pushing in to grab this town center as an idea for Lordi to go for instead of going for that gold staff. As the Chiron getting pushed back, definitely wanting to put down at least a hill fort somewhere. I like the walls starting to come up here. One of the huge advantages of playing Norse is that the infantry build, and while it's an advantage, it can also be a disadvantage, but one of the huge advantages that comes with it is that you can build walls really, really easily. And if you play Norse and you aren't building walls, a ton of them, you're not playing Norse to the most effective possibility, in my opinion. You just take one unit off to this location, one Ulfsark, and throw some walls up over here, finish this up nice and fast. A couple of Ulfsark go down there, more walls going up to just block off all of the different choke points and cause problems for your opponent in the mid game or in the late game. It's definitely worth doing with Norse. As the Toxotes are out here, Skadi is in, and Lordi can use Frost. He does decide to do so, as he wants to put that hill fort down. Bit of a forest fire here to open this position up, getting a little bit of damage done on this position as the raiding cavalry searching for some villagers to attack. He can rush straight in onto this position. Aphrodite on the way now for Tigerboss, as Lordi, he's going to get his hill fort up. He's going to have himself the ability to create Huskarls and Jarls. Probably Huskarls the best idea at this point, but I definitely think trying to get to that mythic age is going to be the best thing the Lordi can do. And at this point, it looks like he's put a lot of villagers over onto wood. He's moving up to this gold mine over here. Doesn't really have farms started up at all. He's got the berries left over on this position, and that's about it. Finishing up with the herdables, the huntables in the middle of the map. At the top corner here, there's some lions there that he can jump onto. He could jump onto the wood over here, as the frost will be finishing up, and the units of Tigerboss, simply put, just going to be retreating away. So no problems there. Lordi, on the other hand, has got the 1,000 food he needs. A temple coming up on the front. Where's the market at? I don't see a market thrown down anywhere, so no plan to go to that mythic age just yet, as restoration gets thrown down there. And Tigerboss is simply just going to be retreating back. Meanwhile, that Raven, it needs to be checking out the town center. You don't want to be allowing the Hades to get that town center at any point here. As Curse gets dropped, units happily sitting underneath the hill fort for the time being, as that second temple coming up to pump those frost giants out, as the Huskar are going to be tanking a lot of damage. The hill fort doing a lot of damage as well, but it's still 20 or 30 population behind. That's a huge amount of DPS that Lordi is not putting into this fight. He needs to just retreat and get his population sorted here. He's got so many resources in the back that he's not spending. And Tigerboss is finding himself a really, really nice position here, as Lordi is simply just going to be retreating back for the time being, as now Lordi's hill fort is going to be getting torn down, and I imagine Tigerboss can start thinking about this town. He's got plenty of gold in the bank, not that much food, as he's starting to put more farms down. So maybe he can't get the town center just yet. Do we see any upgrades on these fish? He does have himself Salt Amphora. I imagine the same is true for Lordi. He's got himself just the classical age upgrade. Definitely Salt Amphora is worth it, but whether rushing it or not is worth it, I don't know. As the Nemean Lion going to be searching for some kills, but there is a Frost Giant in hot pursuit. There's another hill fort coming up on this position to try and defend the gold here. As Lordi's getting himself bowsaw, heavy infantry, and everything else he needs. Is now Hypaspis is starting to come through. And this is kind of what I was saying. Rush that mythic age. Good idea. Not just for the fact that the Fimbulwinter is going to do a huge amount of economic damage, but more importantly, because you get access to the Ballista, which end up being a really, really good counter to this sort of a Hades army. And this Hades army, you need to be able to counter it somehow as Norse, as we do see that Nemean Lion gets caught up in the Frost Giant's web, and will be able to kill it off here. As the units pushing forward, Hill Fort will end up finishing here. And Tigerboss is going to have to decide if he wants to try and take this out or not, as the villagers are indeed trying to get that town center up on that side down the bottom. As fortified town centers coming through for Lordi, and as the raiding cavalry coming around onto the back. But look at the concave here that Tigerboss has managed to make. Those raiding cavalry are not going to be useful at all in this fight. But the Huskarl coming in, it doesn't matter how good your concave is. Huskarl is so good against Toxod. He's taking them down really, really easily as Lordi defends that one nicely. But Tigerboss in this position now gets heavy infantry and heavy archers. Is this fight going to be long enough for him to get this town center up? Is the big question. Those raiding cavalry could have been sent over there significantly earlier here to put a stop to that town center from going up, but he doesn't manage to do that. Meanwhile, we see a town center started for Lordi. It's going to take him a hot minute to get that one up. I can never remember what the time it is to build a town center. I think it's something like 2 minutes or something with the one unit building it. As we do see the Raven gets taken out there, and the raiding cavalry are going to be sad to note they have not been able to stop that. Because now Tigerboss is going to be sitting at 145 population. Lordi, technically speaking, he should be able to take these fights here because he's only down 5 population. It shouldn't be that big of a deal. Now the raiding cavalry are going to be checking out the villagers on this location, and Tigerboss yet again, he knows it's here. The raiding cavalry is searching around for some villagers to kill. But really they need to be here to take out the Huskarl and everything. Not the Huskarl, the Pacifist here on this position. As Lordi getting pushed back, do we see a market up anywhere yet? Still don't see that market up, which he vitally needs to get to that next age. As the Hades Shade starting to push through, causing a lot of problems now. So raiding cavalry still out of position, not really doing a whole lot as the walls coming up on this spot. Villagers on the wood as well, as I imagine Tigerboss is going to be wanting to send himself to that next age as well, to the Mythic Age. And Artemis at this point could be game ending here for Lordi. As the hill fort getting torn down. Another longhouse coming up. Lordi throwing down another longhouse over here. Now Lordi out of hill forts. He's trying to get that hill fort back up, but out of hill forts means no access to these super strong Huskarl. 166 HP is a huge deal for Odin. It's one of the big reasons why Odin's actually overpowered. Or not overpowered, but like S tier or A tier in the top Norse dog is those hill fort units. As Artemis has been clicked up now by Tigerboss. He's nearly 50% of the way through. Plus fortified town centers and watchtowers. Lordi is struggling to keep himself afloat here in this game. Villagers getting pushed back here. Lordi trying to retreat away, trying to get himself some units out. As the raiding cavalry spots some villagers over here to get some damage done. But can he continue in this game as the dwarves pulling away somewhere, potentially to get this gold mine over here? As the throwing axeman trying to put the hill fort up, get stopped by the villager. Will he remember to put that back up or not? We'll have to wait and see if he recognizes his units are attacking a scorehouse or not. There we go. I'm going to be getting that up as best as they can. So raiding cavalry still trying to take out villagers on this position, doing a decent job of it, to be honest. Tier now clicked by Lordi, but is it too little too late in this game? As Artemis going to come through, he can Earthquake and potentially kill both of those hill forts just as they're about to finish. And I think he does it. He will stop the... Okay, he doesn't. All right, he doesn't kill the town center. He doesn't stop the tier. The tier's at 55% now. There's a longhouse coming up here for Lordi. We'll see how it all goes, but you have to be thinking Tigerboss has got to be pretty happy to be in the position that he's in right now. He's in the Mythic Age. He's got basically full villages. He's got gold mines sorted over here, and he could potentially grab this gold mine over here. He doesn't have a market set up yet. Lordi does have some straight military buildings down the bottom there to harass units or harass trade routes and things like that. As the tier just about to hit, that's going to hit the economy pretty hard for Tigerboss here. Let's take a look at exactly what's going to happen. As Lordi does click that one instantly. It's pretty standard. Wolf pack over here. Villagers going to be garrisoning Villagers garrison in the middle because of the wolf back there. And on this position. And the wolf's actually hitting the army as well is going to be a huge assistance here for Lordi as he's trying to defend his town center over here. It's going down, but it's not going down that fast as the frost giants surrounding the units. Do we see any attempt at baluster at this point? It would be vitally important to get that started. But now the Heliopolis have already started. There's 2 here. And they're going to be a bit of a difficulty for Lordi to deal with. So he gets a barracks up over here. He will have the access to Brave Huskal as well, which you can use to try and snipe down buildings and things like that. As this Ulfsark is still searching around for side builds, getting buildings get thrown up all over the place here. So now the Frost Giant can actually start targeting down this town center if he so chooses, as Tigerboss's economy is hurting quite a bit here in this game. 130 population here after that Fimbulwinter, but Lordi, he needs to put his foot on the pedal here and just start attacking this town center with those Frost Giants. They deal 21.6 hack damage, 12 crush damage. They're a very, very good building killer. As the wooden wall is up, the Baluster will start targeting the town center. As Lordi, he hasn't walled this up just yet. Another hill fort going to be coming through. There's the gate as the units pushing through here. Going to try and take out the town center at this point as the Baluster coming in. Technically speaking, you actually want to be targeting down those archers rather than the town center, because I think you can kill the archers off quite fast here. So we do see a Perseus is queued up here, and Lordi decides to turn around in an effort to just hold on this position with his Baluster to target down that town center. It is possible that he's going to be able to make that happen, but the Perseus is out now. You can snipe that down with the Baluster as well, but the Perseus is going to be able to kill off the Frost Giants very, very quickly here. So you do see those Heliopolis, or a Heliopolis coming in to try and take down the Baluster, but very, very calmly and collectively, we see the Frost Giant coming through to freeze the Heliopolis in that position. As the Perseus is actually the unit getting targeted down there. Nice play from Lordi. He's playing this one nicely in the late game. Units coming out all over the place, harassing villagers. Yeah, he's going to get put a stop to by doing this as well. He's trying to pick off every villager he possibly can. As the Frost Giant there needs to take out both of those Heliopolis by himself. Town center down to 2600 HP as the units are still pushing through on this location. Lordi needs some help for those Baluster. He can't just go mass Baluster. You go like Baluster Ulfsark, Baluster Raiding Cavalry, Baluster Throw an Axeman. All of these things work. You need some more help for them because they are so weak on the front line. As the hill forts are going to get torn down, and Lordi is going to be in for a difficult position. Meanwhile, we see Chimera coming over here. Going to start taking down some villagers on this location as well. Ulfsark still searching around on this position to take villagers out. The town center here actually targeting down a longhouse, allowing the heavy Ulfsark to kill a lot of villagers underneath the town center, but the pacifists come through to deny that. As the Heliopolis are just streaming in. This Frost Giant is paying for itself. He's taking down a lot of resources of Tigerboss here, and Tigerboss is just sending these units into their death for the time being. I'm not sure where that Frost Giant's going, but the problem for Lordi is it's currently getting raided to death by a Chimera. That's where the Frost Giant's going, as we see Achilles chasing it down. So the Frost Giant will freeze, maybe freeze the Chimera, but the Achilles will kill off the Frost Giant, most likely before the Chimera dies. So it's not really a one-for-one trade. You also now need to start sending a couple of units to try and deal with both the hero and the Chimera, as the Chimera is just going to be retreating away. And the Heliopoli are going to be able to continue pushing through here. Lordi hasn't repaired this town center back up, as he is desperately struggling for gold in this game. Well, he's got plenty of gold, actually, for resources, for pop. It looks like he sold a whole bunch of food there, actually. As he's desperately trying to hold on here as the Chimera moving back in onto this position. The Achilles has almost taken that Frost Giant out. As the Chimera moves over here, Tigerboss still microing it to the best of his ability. Turns around, hits the special ability, and the Fire Giant falls as more villagers are going to go down on this gold mine. Another Chimera moving in here to help out, as the units have to pull back up to this position here. As that Perseus is in to take another Frost Giant out. And in that position, Lordi does tap out. Well played by Tigerboss. Lordi kind of did what I was thinking he would do, but did it much, much later than I was hoping for. I think a much earlier Fimbulwinter into Ballister straight away would have been a much more surefire way to find an advantage here against the Hades. I think that the Hades players, they give way too much away. Some Hades players give way too much away for the Norse players to do whatever they want. And if the Norse players just pick the path to get to their late game dream as fast as they can, then it ends up being a much better time for the Norse player than it does for the Hades player in my experience. So Lordi's just going to have to work on that one in the future. But there's still another... Well, Tigerboss has won 2 games, so he needs 1 more to win. Best of 5, so first to 3. Congrats to Tigerboss. If you guys enjoyed this game, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next game.